And welcome back. We are halfway through this epic journey as we go through all the brands that distributor Importel has to offer. And on this particular segment, we're going to, how can we say this? We're going to take a little piece of a big pie, because the big pie, of course, is Metra. Metra being a very big manufacturer and supplier, has so many different divisions. But of course, in this 1 hour, we're going to focus that conversation to two particular segments which are really impactful right now and really relevant. But for now, I'm going to bring in Romesh, their 12-volt specialist, who's going to tell us about these two segments and why this is important. As a dealer, you need to pay attention right now. Hey, Romesh, what's going on?
Hey, Ben. Thanks for having us on again.
Well, we're going to be here for a bit. We're nowhere close to done, but it's been a blast so far.
Absolutely.
Getting our learn on, it's been a rock and roll ride, from everything from, OEM integration stuff all the way to cool stuff like Euphoria, and even, car care products like from Sonax, right? Mm-hmm. This one is a big brand. It's Metra. It
is definitely a key distributor for us, Metra Electronics. Absolutely.
It touches everybody. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's really hard to say you're in the 12-volt game if you're not doing something with Metra, and that's kudos to them for having that type of offering. Obviously, we don't have that kind of time to go through the entire catalog. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're going to be focused on today?
Well, we're going to grab onto two pieces of the pie, as you put it. We'll be doing Heise lighting. So obviously for accessories and add-on sales and diversifying, I think is what we were talking about kind of in your little intro there. Dealers are no longer one-trick ponies. We have to look at diversifying and finding things that are in each individual dealer's wheelhouse, where one may not do detailing, another one might want to do light bars, and might be someone that owns trucks or in a market that's heavy in trucks. So lighting with Heise, motorcycle lighting, power sports lighting, side by sides, quads,
LED.
As well as truck LED light bars, that whole thing, as well as accent lighting, right? Because that's just a huge kind of like. And then the other side, the other piece of the pie, so to speak, will be Saddletramp. And that, again, is motorcycle accessories for those that aren't familiar with the line. Saddlebags, extra speaker mountings, radio integration harnesses, everything to make your bike cool. And then from Heise, we can make all of your other toys cool, your trucks, your side-by-sides, your quads. So we kind of are going to focus on those two segments.
I certainly see there was some strategic planning about the presentation of all these brands. Coincidence? Okay. No, but at the end of the day, you're totally nailing it on the head, Ramesh. Like, the 12-volt car audio shop, it's a mobile electronics specialist. Exactly. And the customer's coming in because for them, yeah, it just makes sense. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? You got my car in the shop. You're tearing it apart. You've got wires going. Right. Can't you plug that in for me? I mean, that's really what they're thinking.
Exactly. He'll have either his daily driver in there or his motorcycle in there, and then there's the other. There's either the daily that might need something or the toy that might need something.
Dude, it could be the boat. It could be the boat. It could be the side-by-side. It could be the Sea-Doo. It could be the golf cart. I
was just going to say golf carts, yep.
Golf cart, big deal, right? Or of course, Harley Davidson, huge segment. So to help us with that on this little session, we're going to bring on the Canadian guy for Metra. We know him as Gatlin Sandhu. What's going on, Gat?
Hey, guys. How's you doing?
We are pretty excited to talk some Heise LED or Heise lighting systems.
Yeah, me too.
There we go. He's ready to go. And we're going to talk about some Saddletramp stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Got some cool little pieces and bits here to kind of go through that line, as well as our Heise brand. As you guys know, Metra is a very large company in regards to a lot of different brands when it comes to motorcycles, Jeeps, ATVs, side-by-sides, plastics, integration pieces. So today we're here to talk about our Heise and Saddletramp brands. Okay. And we're going to help our viewers here kind of understand both brands and understand the dynamics of each brand and help them become more profitable, sell more, and have an idea of more applications that they can use just these two, for now, segments to become more profitable in their bay and make some cool installs and do some cool things that maybe they weren't aware of before with some of our brands.
So let's establish a couple of things. Lighting as a category right now, let's talk to us a little bit about the Heise brand, because maybe not everybody knows or are connecting the dots that Heise is with Metra, or how long Heise has been around as a standalone brand.
Gotcha. I mean, so Heise is a very well-rounded brand through Metra, and we touch on a lot of different categories. Anything from your ATVs, your side-by-sides, your Jeeps. I mean, I got a lot of product kind of sitting around here. You know, for an instance here, you know, there's a Jeep segment entirely in the Heise branding that takes care of a lot of, you know, whether it be spare tire lighting or, you know, pod lighting or light bars or anything that's kind of specific to Jeep. We've got a lot of different categories when it comes to ATVs as well, whether it be our RGB rock light kits, our antenna whips, our
okay. So it's not just light bulbs.
No. I mean, we also carry light bulbs as well, but
of course, right?
You know, every single type of light bulb that you could possibly imagine. RGB light bar controllers, our light bars, our slim line. There's also another segment to Heise, which is our Daytona series as well, which is more of our competitive line, I guess you could say. So it competes well in the marketplace.
Okay.
The Heise branding is a little bit more of an echelon type of brand where the quality is certainly there, and so is with the Daytona series, but it's more of a competitor line as well.
All right. So what I'm hearing here, and Ramesh, you can jump in here and I guess support what I'm about to say based on what Gatlin just said. It's a complete lighting lineup. It's pretty much a solutions lineup for every category. Is that how Importel looks at it from a distribution standpoint?
Absolutely. I mean, we inventory. I mean, the greater part of it. I mean, it's almost impossible to inventory all of it. But I mean, we can cover.
It's not impossible.
Oh, well. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, nothing is impossible, but anyways,
yeah, it's a huge line.
It's a massive line, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, the solutions that it offers in the segments that are important for dealers. That's really where we're at with it, right? So,
okay. Why don't we start with a little bit of structure? We got a slide here that talks about maybe I guess a foundation where you would start with looking at a brand like Heise. I'm going to go ahead and share that. Excuse me, guys. All right. Here we go. That should pop up right there.
Bam, there it is. So this is our Pro Series LED headlight replacement bulbs. We've done a lot of due diligence in regards to our longevity in the product. We do a lot of bench testing, making sure that these are long-lasting bulbs and that they are, easily retrofitted into a lot of different housings. You can talk about all the, specifics of the light bulbs, single beam and dual beam light bulbs, 16,000 lumens, 70 watts, 65,000 K color temperature, 260 times brighter than other LED headlight bulbs. Built-in reverse polarity protection as well. So if you're hardwiring something like this, you can use either positive or negative output or input, I guess you could say. Side cable connection for slimmer installation. That makes it really easy to install. I find that a lot of bulbs that are not Heise or Daytona series are quite bulky and large, and you often find them not to fit in factory housings very well. And so our bulbs are, quite slim-lined and nice to fit into those housings. There's an IC thermal controller with high-speed smart fan. 2 millimeters solid copper thermodynamic core, rotatable collar. And that's important as well, because I guess when you're installing these bulbs into standard halogen housings, you need to actually line up those, sorry about that, line up those bulbs up and down, parallel with those halogen housings to make sure you don't get any light scattering and that kind of thing. So it's clockable, so you can actually do that. And I got one of the bulbs right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Hold on a second. So this is the box here, well packaged. Looks really well when it's up on the shelf or in a display case. Usually we have the actual size of the bulb right here as well. If you guys can see that there. This is our HE H1 LED. I'll open this up here just so you guys can kind of get a really good look at this. The quality is there. You know what I mean? The quality is there. Anything Heise has a nice 3-year warranty. If anybody out there tries to tell you that LED technology lasts forever, well, I don't think that they're 100% correct about that. But here's our bulb. Nice aluminum casing, well put together, well thought out. The box here as well is nice foam inserts as well to keep everything nicely protected. And of course, these are available from Importel. They'll have a large array of different sizes and bulbs available for everybody out there.
You know, it's silly. I'm going to say what I'm about to say, but you know, back in the day, buying light bulbs was just going to Canadian Tire and getting whatever the set was on the wall. Can you bring up that packaging again, please,
Yeah,
Ella?
sure. Here it is.
I think it's important that people see that because this is one of those items. And Ramesh, you can chime in here. You could have this in inventory and put it on a nice display, and show the customer what this is, especially with the way that's foam molded. If you don't mind opening that again,
Yeah, not at all.
it's a nice. From my experience on the retail, when you have products like this that you're proud to show and show that there's nice packaging, it's like the Apple thing, right? Why do they put so much time and money into the packaging?
Well, because it feels good, when you open up a box and it's well
Yeah.
packaged and the product pictures on it are nice and appealing to a consumer, then it bleeds quality, right?
100%. All right, so we'll take that down. Let's continue with
That's
the.
our Heise bulbs, and then of course this Daytona series, which is a segment of Heise as well. And these are our competitor bulbs. Again, the guys over at Importel, they're carrying a full line of both Heise and the Daytona series bulbs. I apologize about that. I'll open up this box too so you guys can see that. IP67 ratings, and all of the packaging is very similar to the Heise branding. And we'll take one of these out of the box here for you as well.
Okay.
The light. Ooh, there we go. The connector and the actual light bulb itself. So you can see nice instructions that come along with it. Shows you how to remove the clocking on the bulb here, so you can clock it correctly in the housing. And when you're installing it, it needs to be nice and up and down here, so that way you don't get any light scattering and that kind of thing.
All right.
Driver is attached to the housing here as well. Nice connectors. Everything's labeled beautifully. Yeah, there's a Daytona series.
So let's go back to the slide over here.
Just repack this up here. And so that's our Pro Series LED light bulb replacements, and very, very nice set. And if you're interested in getting those, of course, contact the guys over at Importel.
All right. Do we want to talk about Daytona lights, or we want to?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the Daytona series. We'll scroll back up there. The Daytona series of Heise is what I like to consider the competitive branding of Heise. So it's a little bit more competitive in the price point. So guys can compare these to the other offshore brands, I guess, that are out there, and kind of be more competitive in the lineup, right? These are a hot seller. Again, the reliability and the quality is also there, but being able to offer a high quality product at a lower price point allows guys to become more profitable and efficient in the bay. So that's our Daytona series lights. And here we have a DL1. These are a nice driving light, super bright, easy install, nice casing, nice weather sealed connections on those pieces as well. Below that, you see the DL-CL3. Those are our cube lights. And if you notice on the cube lights there, just a little side note, they actually have LEDs on the right and the left side of the housing, which makes the pattern a little bit more of a flood pattern, but also quite nice. Those can be installed either in a grill or in a fog light location. And then below that, you have our DL4S driving lights. And again, universally mounted, nice square housing, and very weather pack and a nice construction.
All right.
Some of the stuff I don't have samples of right here in hand, but it's nice to have the slides here as well. These are our RGB LED kits through Daytona series. Super high quality, nice extension wires and splitters that are all included in the box. Music controller with key fob and card remote. Easy installation with all the plug and play connections. And again, all those nice connectors there are the screw-on type with the weather pack ceilings on them. As you guys know, in Canada, we don't have the same weather that you'd expect in, say, a place like Florida or California, or places where there's just the sunshine states, right? And so here at Metra, we do a lot of due diligence in our quality and making sure that we think about all that kind of stuff and do weather pack connectors and think about the installation and making them last through the winter. And in some cases, it can't, but we try our hardest to make sure that stuff is done. These lights here include a nice cigarette lighter adapter that you're able to plug into the dash. And again, easy installation. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to install the Daytona series of the RGB lighting kits. You can lop off that connector if you really wanted to and hook up power and ground through either a switched or constant source, and then use the remotes to change the lighting patterns and all that as well. IP65 LED strips.
With the key fob and the remote.
With the key fob and the remote, yeah.
All right. All right, that calls it for this. Now, what else do we have to say about Heise LED lighting? I know we're not going to stay on slides all day, but we were talking about not motorsport, but UTV, power sport solutions, and that type of stuff. Why don't we speak a little bit about that?
Well, there are a lot of different lighting applications that Heise offers in regards to, again, like marine, ATV, motorcycle, car, truck, 18-wheelers, a lot of different applications. And, we'll have to kind of get these guys to visit the heiseled.com website through the metroonline.com website, or they can type it in directly on their browser. And once you start looking through all the different segments on the catalog, you'll start to quickly realize just how big and diverse the Heise line really is. Again, anything from your ATV, RGB lighting kits. While
you're on that, I guess what I want to know is, if I had to pick a few SKUs that are really hot to go right now from the Heise line as a dealer, what should I be really looking at?
You should be looking at LED replacement bulbs. Obviously, the newest market is the RGB lighting as well. We're going to be dipping into our Saddletramp lighting a little bit later, but again, full housings from Saddletramp on Heise for motorcycles. There are a couple of slides that were there, I believe, in regards to showing some of the new pieces for the Saddletramp Heise lighting, which is the lower fairing lighting and the saddlebag lighting, as well as
we'll get to that. We'll get to the Saddletramp. Yep.
But that just speaks, to how diverse the line really is. And so, when you're thinking about lighting, a lot of people often just think about light bars, that they think, LED light bars, or, they may kind of dive themselves into an LED bulb or something in that regards, or maybe a cube light. But the line really goes so much deeper than that. Maybe Ramesh can take the lead on that and kind of discuss how much further, our line really speaks to than some of the other competition.
Yeah. Where does the Heise line connect with your customers or Importel customers so far, Ramesh?
Well, a lot of, like I said, power sport, side-by-side, a lot of color changing stuff, light bars, marine applications, and then also obviously in trucks, right?
Trucks.
So light bars, yeah.
All right, very cool. Let's shift gears into Saddletramp.
Okay.
It's a funny name.
It is. I don't actually know specifically where it derived from, but it's a unique kind of name that speaks volumes in the industry.
And I think it's relevant to that market. And forgive me, I apologize to any Harley Davidson guy looking at me like Ben's an idiot. But I wasn't sure what it was until I dug a little bit deeper. And obviously, it is a dedicated line that Metro's come up with that specializes in motorcycle accessories for the Harley Davidson market. Did I get that right?
That's correct. Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
And as far as motorcycles go, what's the demand been these last year to 2 years, Ramesh? I know it's all over like industry week. Everybody's talking about motorcycle, but I'd like to hear it from you.
Oh, demand is, it's huge. I can't even find descriptors for it.
Really? Are you getting actually calls like, bro, do you have this for this Harley? Bro, do you have this?
Like single 6x9, dual 6x9, lowers, uppers, pretty much everything under the sun, and I need it yesterday.
You know what it's like? It's like these guys, they buy one thing and they just keep on trying to find things to add to their bike.
That's completely the Harley customer. And when they're done the bike, then they just sell it and they buy another one and they
start again because it was so fun doing it.
It was so fun, and now they're going to go bigger and they're going to go put 12-teen speakers in it and 12-teen. Yeah, there's not nearly enough of
Davidson cruising down the 401 in Ontario here specifically, and he's got a set of Screaming Eagle pipes on it, let's say, and the thing is just rocking going 120 down the 401, and he wants to be able to hear his music, right? And so the Saddletramp brand speaks to that. And, there are a lot of accessories that we offer that allow the consumer to do things almost like literally plug and play. In a lot of cases with the newer bikes that are out there, our DSP piece for the Saddletramp brand. We make it really easy to retain your factory radio, retain all your factory steering wheel controls, retain all of your factory Bluetooths and streaming and all that stuff, and make that factory head unit sound as best as it can. And in cases where you can't use or want to get a little bit more functionality or get a screen in there, like, the world is kind of endless. As deep as your wallet can go is how far you can go with your bike.
So before we jump into this, now, if anything that is applicable to Harley, would it be under a Saddletramp SKU, or do I have to go outside? Like, for example, that interface unit. Is that under Saddletramp? I'm just curious. How does that work?
So there is the AXDSP-X is a very universal piece, both in car and motorcycle, and you can also hardwire, use it as a passive.
Right. However, is that branded Saddletramp?
There are branded Saddletramp AXDSP harnesses that will come along with an AXDSP, and that model ranging anywhere from 99 to current, and allows you to again retain that factory head unit using our Bluetooth app with the AXDSP. Full tunability, full EQ, full time alignment, all that fun jazz. And, the game of the game now is integration. Everyone is integrating into things and trying to, keep that factory head unit and make sure that they can retain their factory steering wheel controls and backup cameras, et cetera, et cetera. And so over here at Metra, we've done our due diligence and made sure that we've come up with a piece that allows the motorcycle guys to do that as well under the Saddletramp brand. And so literally it's just as easy as plugging it in. I'll take the AX DSP out of the box here and show you guys what that's all about, and again,
unboxings.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of unboxing here. So here's the module here, and this is the AX DSP X, and it's 10 channels in, 10 channels out, as its own standalone piece that comes in its box without a Saddletramp branded harness that comes along with it. You'll just find that it's got the standard harnessings for your RCAs, power, inputs, all that, and those plug directly into the module on this side here. Keynote for guys, just to kind of help them. Anything on the access line that is involving a module, we have our setup and update board, so make sure that you download the Access Updater and you update these things before you even touch the car. It's the first thing you should do. I just wanted to touch base on that because it's very important. We come up with new updates and new applications all the time, so it's very important that you update these things. Also included in the box is a base control knob, which is universally mounted. You can mount that anywhere inside the fairing or the bike, and you can use it as a volume control as well. And when you see this piece in the Saddletramp branding, instead of getting these packagings here, you'll have this side with the RCA outputs from the module, of course. But on the opposite side, where it's looking for the inputs, it'll have the factory-style Harley-Davidson connectors that'll allow you to plug in and tee into the factory stereo on a Harley-Davidson and retain your steering wheel controls and all the functionalities and things that you'll typically find on some of the newer bikes. They're getting pretty crazy and complicated. I'm sure Ramesh gets a lot of the tech support and questions on that and updating and doing things with flat signals and maybe even potentially taking the bike to a dealership to have the flat signals produced for them before they plug in our DSP. But
all right. Keeping on the theme of Saddletramp, we want to move through because, like I said, like you're always saying, and there's a lot of stuff. So I'm going to kind of keep us on pace. Let's take a look at the new RGB 12 LED strip kit with controller, specifically from Saddletramp.
Yeah. So this is our BC RGB K1 kit, and it's a 12 LED strip kit with our controller. And I'll just go ahead and quickly unbox a controller on the separate side here. You can keep this screen and this slide available, but at the same time, I'll kind of unbox this RGB controller because it is a universal controller and it works a lot with a lot of our different applications as well. So this is our LED light RGB controller here. But this kit is completely plug and play with OE style connections. So this is for the guy at home, or again, you can contact a retailer to have them install it for you. But it's a plug and play kit. So it makes it as easy as humanly possible. Saddletramp, the brand, we come up with all of the ISO connectors on things to make sure that it is easy as humanly possible. Plugs into the factory connectors, and it's all weather pack and nice and sealed, and loom to make sure that everything is nice and sealed. These guys sometimes get caught in the rain, or I mean, in some cases they get caught in the snow depending on where they're going, but the connections are super important, especially weather pack connections. And so we've done a lot of research, a lot of R&D to make sure that when we are developing things like this LED kit, that it's plug and play, but it's also weather pack. It's going to be safe from rain and the elements. Again, weather tight connections, 50/50 LED strips with black base. So there are a lot of different color Harley Davidsons, but the typical one you'll see will be a black Harley Davidson. And so these lights can be installed in an inconspicuous way. You can zip tie them, double side tape them, 3M them to the frame, and do a really nice slick job. And we give you lots of length on the wiring as well to run it under the saddle, or underneath the seat, or in behind the fairing, so you can get power, whether it be from a cigarette lighter or the battery directly. Million different colors, RGB colors, which is app controlled through our Metra RGBW app, which you can download from the either Apple iTunes store or on Android. And the RGB controller is, of course, included, being that it is a plug and play kit. And the controller also controls for brake and turn signals as well, which is kind of unique to our Saddletramp branding as well. So when you install this, and it is plug and play, and if you've aligned all the LED strips up on the bike frame left and right and in the back of the bike as a brake, when you press the brake, the red lights will light up as a brake light. And as you know, if you are a Harley Davidson rider, especially at this time of year, you're seeing a lot of guys posting about being seen and people looking out for motorcycle drivers when they're down the road. And so this kind of speaks to that as well and helps people be seen while they're driving.
Well, added value on the safety side of things. And I do appreciate that there's actual 3M adhesive backing included in the kit. Okay. Yeah. I can see that the application 96 to 13 with the 8-pin, 10 to 13 with the 6-pin, and of course the newer models, the 14 and up, that come with the 6-pin OE pin. Looks like a complete kit. You got a customer that comes in. I need my bike to light up like stat. Yeah. It seems like this is the solution right there. And you say, oh, and by the way, you can use your phone to play the groovy lights.
You got it.
So pretty neat. All right.
Quickly show if you want to just span to my screen here.
Oh, okay. Real quick. Yep.
To kind of show them this RGB lighting controller here. And again, it's Bluetooth controlled. And all of these connections that are here. I'm just going to kind of put these up as close as I can to the camera here. Nice weather pack, sealed connections. Everything is predetermined for power and ground as well. And it's got some mounts on the side here, so you can either zip tie it or screw it to something really nicely underneath of the bike.
Very cool. Not too big, and everything has to be small when it comes to motorcycles because there's only so much space. Up next here, Gatlin, is I think it's a pretty unique product, and maybe you can tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so the Saddletramp brand, or Heise in general, always tries to come up with new ideas and new applications. And again, the whole being seen idea of being on a motorcycle is super important. I'm not sure if you guys have ever, got lost in the hole of YouTube and, watched guys on motorcycles hitting mirrors and just, getting cut off and people not seeing them. We try to come up with new ideas. Last year or the year before, there was some handlebar lights that are at the end of the handlebars. And, those are kind of unique in a way that, allow people to, again, see these motorcycle drivers at nighttime and or during the day. And these two new pieces here, the BC BFKC, the front fork LED accent lights. If people can span to the picture there, it's right below the wheel. And, it's not always about adding light at the top of the bike, but also at the bottom of the bike. Most forward-facing light to the left or right will help you be seen. So, again, this one here fits the Harley Davidson 2014 to 15 and up. It's a red 2-stage LED light. It's also running and turn signal. So it's, again, going back to that being seen. It's painted vivid black. The cool thing about these is you can remove the LED housing off of the black backing. And you can paint that any color you want. So if you have a blue over fender on your the front of your motorcycle, you can take that off, send it to your paint shop, and have them paint match it to match the bike as well.
It looks like, does that attach factory mount on those two bolt spots?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, covers the factory axle nuts, creating a smooth look. Oftentimes our eyes are always kind of driven to the front wheel. Some guys are adding really big, front tires and rims to their motorcycles. And, with that are those, big chrome lug nuts that you'll usually see on the side there. And so these actually cover those factory axle nuts, creating a nice smooth look. And, so we've thought about that as well. Stainless steel mounting hardware, of course, is always included. So that way you're not seeing any rusting or anything like that. And below, you're seeing the BC SBMKL, and that is our saddlebag LED accent lights for your saddlebags. And again, the lowermost facing light on a bike is also important. You'll notice in the picture there, it's able to reflect off of the tailpipe. Some guys have, Reinhardt black pipes, but a lot of the chrome accents on a motorcycle, especially a Harley Davidson, will reflect a lot of these lights. And so they're more of a flood pattern type light that's down there that can reflect off the pipes. Harley Davidson is all about the lighting. It's always about being different. These guys don't want to have the same, roll up to a meet, or, they go to, a bike meet or whatever it might be. And
it's the furthest you can go from being stealth. It starts with the potato sound.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to have a Harley, it's not because you want to be ninja-like.
Exactly.
I'll tell you that right now.
Exactly.
Do we have time for this? Yeah, let's go to this one.
So these here make adding our Saddletramp saddlebag covers a lot easier. And again, this goes to the testament of Saddletramp and our R&D department really looking deep into how we're doing things and keeping things as simple as possible. And so I do have a couple of these harnesses here, and you know what, I'll probably just take one right out of the bag here while I'm talking about it to show you guys at the same time what these are all about. So these are plug and play Y and T harnesses for speakers on your saddlebags. And again, these are really nice, well-coated harnesses with factory-style weather pack connections on them as well. And this is a Y harness or an extension cable that will allow you to add those rear saddlebag speakers that would have otherwise not been there. And these also come along with our Y connectors. And I'll just quickly, again, take one of these out of the bag here. And this is our BC 9723. These are on the slides, which we'll get back to in just one second. But this here is our BC 9720. This is the extension harness. And the one that I'm about to open that I dropped here is right here. And this is our Y harness. So I'll go ahead and take this out of here. Again, you know, going back to the Saddletramp brand, not just the actual product inside of the bag, but we've done a lot of due diligence in making sure that the packaging is really nice for those guys that are retailing it out in their store. So, you know, the Saddletramp brand brings a lot of questions and, you know, really speaks to quality, and so is the packaging. So you can, you know, put this up on your retail rack and have all this stuff easily available to either your consumers or your installers at your retail shop. And it just makes life a lot easier. This is one of those profitability things. You know, a lot of shops are always looking for new and exciting ways to become more profitable. And, you know, I like to talk about those speaker connections, you know, those plug and play factory style speaker plugs. And we've done the same thing here with our Saddletramp brand. And let me just kind of untangle this a little bit. And so they come with weather pack connections and grommets as well. So you can install these in the lower part of the saddlebag itself. And these all plug directly into each other and allow you to run these from an amplifier to those rear speakers in the saddlebag covers. And again, all weather pack connected, super nice, super clean. And when you're talking to a customer about this kind of stuff, sure, a lot of shops would be comfortable just running their own you know, their own wiring to a saddlebag cover. If they're adding additional speakers to the motorcycle, you know, running a set of 14, 16 gauge 2-wire to the saddlebags. But when you can convince a customer to do things in this fashion, where it's nice and plug and play, this becomes more profitable for the dealer. And, you know, it's a peace of mind for the for the motorcycle driver as well. So these are super nice. And we'll just scan back to that, slide there for a second. So the BC 9722 is a lower fairing Y harness, front speaker T harness when adding lower fairing speaker pods. It's OE connectors, plug and play, and the wire, of course, is covered in expandable sleeving, making it really nice to run along all those wires on the frame of a motorcycle. And below that is the BC 9723, which I showed you here, and that's a saddlebag speaker harness, and that plugs in again into the OE backbone harness of a BC 9720, which I showed you as well, and that is for the use of our Saddletramp bag lids. And then below that, we have our BC 9727 Tour Pack plug and play rear speaker harness, and again, playing into that, you know, nice OE quality, nice OE weather pack connections, plugs directly again back into the backbone harness of the BC 9720, which I showed you there. And it's got overmolded grommets for a watertight seal when you're adding that into the saddlebag itself. And I'll just zoom in here so you guys can see that nice grommet there. And again, it's for the use with the BC TP 699713. So
cool.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. If you can convince the customer to upgrade, especially speaker wiring, and show, you got to show them. It's one of these things. You can't just talk about it. You have to show them the quality of the connectors and everything that Metro does with their packaging, and that totally makes sense. I think we have a good opportunity here before we run too late of time to show a video that was prepared by Metro. Let's go ahead and play that, and we can come back and discuss that.
My name's Jason from Metro Electronics. I'm going to be talking to you today about the Saddletramp line. We've got a bunch of new harnesses coming out this year, and I'd like to just take a few minutes to kind of give you a rundown of what these harnesses can do for you when you're working on motorcycles. The first one that I want to talk about and show you, what we're working on right now is a 2015 Harley Davidson Road Glide. And this particular bike obviously has a factory radio. It's got some factory speakers up here in the front, but it doesn't have any speakers in the rear. From factory, Harley is pre-wired for rear speakers, but it doesn't give you that backbone harness to take you from the front of the bike down to the back of the bike or underneath the seat. So one of the first harnesses that we decided to make was Harley Davidson backbone harness. So you can take the BC-9720 and it's pinned to match factory polarity, and you can plug it in. I've already run it down the backbone of the motorcycle. You are going to have to remove the gas tank, and it dumps the other end of the connector out underneath the seat. We've got some other harnesses that I'll show you in a minute that allow you to split that signal off underneath the seat to feed stuff like bag lids or some of the tour pack lids that we offer. So we'll show you those a little bit later. The next one I want to show you is BC-9722, and this is a great option for extending the front wires, the front speaker wires, down to lower fairing speaker pods like on your crash bars. And this is also another item that we offer in the Saddletramp line. So this, again, is just plug and play. It's color-coded, white, black. So this would be the left-hand side. So up here, just unplug this harness, plug our T-harness in, and now you can run this speaker wire down to your crash bar location, wire up a set of speakers, and get some additional front audio. So we have left and right options for those. Great little option for tapping into speaker signal. That's the BC-9722. Now, one of the other harnesses that we're really excited about is our BC-9715. What this harness is going to do is going to give a lot of flexibility to the installer. So this harness is going to be used when you want to retain your factory radio. And what we're going to start off with is we have an input and output harness. So we can disconnect the factory radio, plug our aftermarket BC-9715 into the vehicle's wiring harness, and then plug the other end into our factory radio. And what this is going to do for us is we're basically splitting the audio out of the radio and then out to the speakers. We're splitting it into two. We're splitting it into an input side and an output side. And the sole purpose of this is to add aftermarket amplifiers. And we've made it incredibly easy for you to work with multiple amplifier manufacturers. On the input side of this harness, we're providing pre-terminated wires. And we are including the Molex 4-pin connectors that you commonly see on aftermarket amplifiers. So depending on your polarity of the aftermarket amplifier that you're choosing, you can pin for your amplifier as you see fit. Gives you a lot of flexibility, gives you a lot of options. If you don't have any, if it's a hardwire input, you just cut these off, strip them in, slide them into your input side of the amplifier. So very easy. We also offer in this BC 9715 kit RCAs. So you can take your Molex connector, you can pin your speaker leads to match our RCAs, and now you have an RCA input into any aftermarket amplifier. So it kind of makes it's easy, it's more universal, and it gives the installer a lot of installation options. Let's say you want to add even more flexibility to the motorcycle, options to your customer. We have pre-wired into our BC-9715 an input harness for the AX DSP line. This is the 20-pin plug that you get with the AX DSP. On this particular piece, we've got the overmolded grommet for the WR version, the water-resistant version of our AX DSP. So, and this is, you would use this harness or this DSP in place of your other input wires. So it really comes down to one or the other. We tried to give you as much choice and flexibility as possible. So we've got the two overmolded grommets into place. We plug our DSP board in. Slide it into our water resistant case and snap it in. Now we've got a full 31 band graphic equalization, all the standard features that you would find in the DSP. You set up and control it via Bluetooth. You can always check the Access website or the Saddletramp website for more details. But now, again, we have our output side of our DSP, which goes into the input side of your aftermarket amplifier. And again, we're providing you with all of the Molex connectors you need to pin it to match your amplifier's input.
There it is.
There it is. Ryan himself laying it down, showing us how it's done.
That's Jason Anderson.
Right Jason, not Ryan. I called him Ryan. I meant Jason. I know Jason.
Jason Anderson from our R&D department there. I'm sure Ramesh has actually had an opportunity to meet Jason firsthand.
Yep.
Awesome.
Just unmute your mic there, Ramesh.
Sorry?
Yep, go ahead.
Works better now, right?
It does work better now. Yeah.
There you go.
If not, there's probably a Metro kit to fix that.
Yes. Is there a T-harness for that?
There's probably a T-harness for that.
Yeah.
So as Jason was kind of talking there in that video in regards to your amplifier choice, something I wanted to kind of touch base with Importel. Got Ramesh kind of smiling over there. The Arc Audio brand that they carry works super, super well with our Saddletramp brand. And so if guys are interested in having the full package with the Arc Audio speakers as well as the Arc Audio amplifiers to mix well with our Saddletramp brand, then, I've had some really good luck. Our most recent dealer there from Angry Jay's Customs, he did some pretty cool work with the Arc Audio stuff in our Saddletramp brand, and it worked out pretty well. Did you have an opportunity to see that, Ramesh?
I didn't see it. I was involved in the selling of it. So,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. That works out.
Yeah, that works out.
This is fast, I know, but we're already at the bottom of the hour. So last thing, I'm going to leave you an opportunity here, Gatlin. Saddletramp, Heise LED, what message do you have for dealers that are looking at that?
The message that I have is just, Metra is more, people kind of see Metra as a plastics company, and, again, we're a lot more diverse than that. And we've been in the game for 75 plus years now. And so if I have a message to tell anyone is to visit our metraonline.com website and click the catalogs icon at the very top of the web page. You'll see a drop-down menu of all of the different brands that we carry. And I encourage our dealers and consumers to look at the catalogs on those segments on our website and just see for yourself how diverse and wide each category is. And, how deep we've, dove into each category, whether it be Heise or Saddletramp.
There's a ton of videos also on YouTube on the Saddletramp product that I would encourage you to go take a look at. Pretty nifty builds.
And not
So-
just our own videos, but our actual, retailers and consumers who are using
customers, using it. Yeah, absolutely.
You know? The stuff is super loud, sounds great. A guy has a set of Screaming Eagle pipes, or I guess it's a Screaming Eagle engine. Screaming Eagle engine with Ryan Hart pipes. Sorry, I'm trying to get my Hart and lingo correct here.
Don't sound like a poser, Gatlin. They will call you out. You know they will.
Gatlin on the riding in a Harley, but those bikes are loud, and we've done a lot of research to make it sound good at 120 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Gatlin.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me, guys. Ramesh, thanks,
Gatlin.
Yeah, no problem.
You and I, of course, will be circling back during the Metro session.
You bet.
Take care.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Mr. Ramesh.
Hello.
Another category. I was hoping he would go there because for me, I was trying to connect the dots, and I think he went there. ARC audio. We didn't get to ARC audio yet. That's on Thursday.
That's
seeing that video,
different bat data, different bat channel.
But it was kind of obvious to connect the dots.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that we didn't even cover with all of that with Saddletramp, we covered all the electronics or a lot of the electronics and the integration, but all the different lids, lid variations,
the hardware,
the hardware, because that's how you get some of the bikes louder, because you can't fit stuff into what you already have, right? We have fairings from Saddletramp in stock. We even have a demo out here. So for bikes that don't have a fairing, or if you need bigger speaker locations rather than using adapters, so you get more depth. Well, so you can get more depth, right? So you can get the bigger drivers in there, like we were saying with ARC and things like that, right?
Yeah, man.
So, guy wants 4 up front and he's only got 2. They've got lowers, different styles of lowers for the same fitment or application of bike. So sometimes there's more than one. So there's for dealers that aren't familiar with bikes, for me, it's been a lot of on a personal level studying because I don't own a bike, right? So like Gatlin was saying, was trying to figure out all the different, where does that fit? Where does this go? And when people come in with a bike, having that understanding, because these are not small ticket items, and customers do, they do want those solutions. So being sort of, not overstating what you do and don't know, but at least knowing what's out there. Right. I think that goes a long way to, being able to offer the solution. And then you get all the electronics and stuff, which is the first thing they're kind of focused on, is kind of like with, with cars and everybody starting in the trunk with subwoofers, is they want to start with the drivers and go, hey, I want this here and this here, and I want 6 speakers, 8 speakers. And they don't really know how they're going to get there.
No.
They just saw something somewhere.
Just seen a video or an image somewhere in a forum or something.
They pulled up to their local hangout spot, and some guy was blaring his system on his bike, and they're like,
it was louder than his, so he's
right, because they only had two little 5 1/4s up here, right?
Yeah,
2 little 5 1/4s up here. And he's like, there were speakers everywhere. I want that.
Yeah,
and they don't know what that entails. But if you're a dealer and you're not a motorcycle, let's say, shop, or you don't own one, being aware of it, because the category is so prevalent.
Get involved with your community meetups. The Harley clubs all over the place. Show up, talk to the people. Say, hey, is this something you'd be interested in doing? Just so you got to be proactive about it. You can't just sit there and expect a Harley guy to knock on your door just because you do car audio. You know what I mean? So
right, but like the Marine and the side by side guys,
same thing,
right? Yeah,
opportunities are there. All right, cool, Rush. Double thumbs up. I think I'm coming back with you soon, aren't
I? You are in about an hour. I think you got Kelly next, I believe.
Kelly. All right.
You got K-Dog and then me.
K-Dog. Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
There you have it, guys. A little glimpse of the large lineup offering from Metra in the Heise, as well as the Saddletramp brand for Harley Davidson, available to you through Importel, of course. Another great session as we continue on this journey of exploring all the great brands that Importel has to offer. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.